Weiwei is a celebrated artist, activist and filmmaker. He was arrested and detained for 81 days in 2011 for criticising his home country, China. He also had his passport revoked for the 4 years leading up to July 2015. Since then, he settled in Germany and spent the last year interviewing refugees from 22 countries for a new documentary. Miranda Atty met him in Berlin.
Your new documentary, Human Flow, is currently in post-production. Can you tell us about the genesis of the film?
I started the film exactly 1 year ago, and without no planning, and I just stepped into this refugee situation, and I was walking on the shore in Idomeni, not Idomeni, but Lesbos, and I was shocked by what I have seen and experienced. And that time I decided to be involved. As an individual, as an artist, how can you be involved? For me, two things. First, to learn what really happened. Second is record it and to make a movie. So I made a quick decision, but I totally got involved. We set up a team, start shooting, start from Greece, then Turkey, and Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, Gaza, and Bangladesh, Africa, and Mexico, and Iraq, and Afghanistan, Pakistan. We try to cover as much as possible. Wherever we can make to see the reality and to record it. Millions of refugees, I should say, from very different historical background, different nationality, religion, different reasons.
And of course, it's such a huge project and you covered so many different countries. And I'm sure that you saw so many unique stories. But was there a kind of shared commonality that you got to discover during making this film?
Yes, our view is very broad and very, I should say, we have seen too much. And but what I really have a question in my mind, what is so-called a refugee? The film is called A Human Flow. As we understand, as human, in the thousands years ago till now, the flow is very natural behavior, and the border only exists in very late stage, and the border always changing. And but human has this very simple desire, trying to survive, trying to find a more suitable condition, trying to raise their children and to have a future. This is a very, very essential humanity and a very, very basic need or desire. And it's part of human dignity by doing that to protect very basic need for education, for safety, for place, can work, can really contribute to others. And by doing that, you're learning or you're sharing the different experience. So it's what happened today, what happened to Europe and the West in trying to stopping this very essential human movement. It's a horrible tragedy. It's very shameful. It's really destroys the foundation of what Europe or the West is supposed to be.
You went to Idomeni, and I think that informed your laundromat exhibition in New York. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, Idomeni is first stop, the refugee being stopped after they arrive in Greece. So it's the border of Greece and Macedonia border. And they gathered over 10,000 migrants nobody tell them what to do, why they've been stopped there, and nobody give them very basic daily needs such as water or piece of bread. And the situation is so horrible. It's like a war zone. It's like finally the war is in Europe. It's not. You don't see gunpowders or smokes, but you see humans' coldness, humans' neglectance about other people who is desperately in need. So we try to also recover that. That's very symbolic, and it testifies what kind of society we're in. And when it being totally evacuated, and we decide to collect all those abandoned leftovers, those clothes, and there's a lot, thousands of them. We take them to Berlin, wash them, iron them, and to put record, and to make a show in New York City, Jeffrey Dutch Gallery called Laundromat. And the show received thousands of people. It's quite, for a general audience, it's a quite touching show to see. Those people just like you and me, we wear same kind of clothes, we have same kind of desire just to protect those people who's vulnerable. But of course, the reality is they never really believe they would have that kind of safety.
Back in September last year, you took part in this Oscar Wilde exhibition where you wrote a letter to your son about the 81 days that you spent in detention. And the really interesting thing is that you kind of talked about the conditions for you and the conditions for refugees here in Europe. And I think you drew some kind of parallels.
I live in a land which I'm not familiar with, the language I don't speak with, and the kind of religion I don't even understand or recognize. And I'm being pushed out by political condition because it's so harsh, and it doesn't have the very basic rights. You speak out of your mind as an artist is very difficult, and it endangers my family, my son and my girlfriends. We have to come out to guarantee they have a normal life, rather than being followed every day. Unfortunately, this world is so still not a perfect condition in many locations, not only in China. Today, if you think about the United States, it could be very much ended up like what happened in China. And we are still living in a world, a war can happen any moment, and the power still not being really restricted or limited. And individuals still can never not even get their message through, because yes, you can demonstrate, but next day, nobody even talk about it, So we are really in a problematic situation in the world, and all the dangers are still there.
What do you think is the power of art, especially in times like this?
I think power of art is very simple. It relates to everybody's feeling. And our feeling is our understanding about the world. And we have to protect those feelings because those feelings is directly against the authoritarian principles. And so that's why we have to defend those forms, shapes, voice, and the different angle of locutions. And I always come back to private individual rights and feelings. And I think I still believe people now would have the last words if they want to. And because they are foundation of any society, we still have to care about education, care about not to be divided, not to be built in this kind of hatreds, and always question the authority, always exercise our freedom. And we all have to realize we have one life, and it's most precious thing in the world. We have to exercise our freedom. The freedom is never as a given gift, but rather through fight, and rather through our own careness and protection of our freedom.